Hello universe, how are you today? So, today I have a couple of interesting topics to talk about. So I discovered that in a way I can quiet this treadmill down, or I'm already on a treadmill. I've discovered that I can quiet the elliptical down if I take a quick motion at times. If for some reason adjusts the flywheel or whatever it is underneath, whatever seems to be causing the bump and grind, it adjusts it. Hang on, my phone's ringing. I don't know. Someone's calling me. Anyway, the reason I don't know, I noticed though that when I do faster motions like this, that it tends to impact the noise and tends to adjust the flywheel enough so that it doesn't make that obnoxious noise while I'm in motion. I noticed that last night when I got on to do some of my cardio while listening to the Game of Thrones Book 2 Swords of Kings, I can't remember what it's called. Clash of Kings. I'm getting closer to the end, believe it or not, of that book, and we'll move on to A Storm of Swords. Now, once I get to A Storm of Swords, I will be in uncharted territory as far as the books are concerned, because, as you know from some of my previous videos, I have watched seasons 1 and 2 of the television adaptation of Game of Thrones, and when you get to Storm of Swords, even though they've made a season 3, I have yet to see it. So, in a way, I'm going to finally read the books before the series comes out, at least to me. And that's good. I kind of like that, actually. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle the series versus the book. I've already seen certain, or heard certain parts of the book, so I know that certain things are a little different and have a little different of a spin on them. I certainly know that some things in book 2 are different. So it's interesting to see the differences they do from television or from the books versus the television series. Whereas things, and yet they're still following the same general campaign, I guess, or storyline. And primarily they haven't changed, like, for example, with a show like The Walking Dead. They've changed a lot of The Walking Dead TV show from the original comics. Main characters that still exist within the comic are actually dead in the TV show adaptation. So Game of Thrones is interesting to see if they are at some point going to veer away from the original book storylines in any significant way, the way they have in The Walking Dead. Something tells me they're not, because the books are so successful for Game of Thrones, and it's a different, I can only think of the word animal from The Walking Dead. Either way, the two things I really wanted to talk about were good shoes and procrastination. And I'm going to talk about good shoes first, because procrastination, I'm going to wait on that. You get it? Procrastination, I'm going to wait. See how funny that was? Well, it was a little funny. Fine, it wasn't funny at all. What do you want from me? No one writes this material but me. And I do it drunk. What? Stop looking at me like that. So, good shoes. Get good shoes. Please get good shoes. One of the guys who works with me for me, and one of the contacts I know at the state, have both suffered from bone spurs. And one of them has gone through a procedure and actually had nerves in his foot severed so that the pain, even though the issue is still there, he has eliminated the pain by having nerves severed. Of course, the fallback to that is, or the failure in that is, that he will not be able to feel if he ever breaks his toes, because they cut the nerves on the front section of his foot. So now, if he stomps a toe, or stumps a toe, or ever has a hard object land on his foot, he will never know that it may be broken, because nerves are gone. And one of the guys I work with, Bill, he actually has a bone spur in his foot and has gone to get cortisone shots, and it's still affecting him. His wife is actually trying to get him to go see a doctor to address the issue. And I'm not saying that that's a result of having bad shoes, but the better your shoes are, and the more protection you've got, especially if you have mobility of your legs, don't take it for granted. Get good shoes. Seriously, don't go in for cool or hip looking. Oh, those are great. I don't care if they are the god ugliest shoes in the world. If they are comfortable and protect your feet, they're more important than the latest Jordans or Pumas or Nikes or whatever. It's very, very important that you take care of this, from the tip of your toes to the top of your head, to take care of your body as much as possible. And that fits into the whole Shayloss thing, but it's not just about what's on the outside. It's about everything in between, and even the essence of you, your very mind and spirit, if you believe in spirits, or a soul. So you have to take care of those things. So get good shoes, whether it be a metaphorical thing or a literal thing. Take care of yourself in that way. You might remember yesterday I was talking about, in sort of a rushed fashion, about how women who suffer from depression are more likely to have obese children. Well, it comes down to that concept that, and I know it's a TV show, so don't get me wrong, but reminds me of one of my favorite TV shows of all time, Quantum Leap. And in the end of the show, the series, when they were about to end it, Sam encounters this character who's conceivably been shifting him through time. If you've never seen Quantum Leap, go see it. It's an interesting program. Interesting concept. Sci-fi, obviously, but sci-fi adventure and drama, really strong. Anyway, in the end of the series, Sam is talking to this character who's been shifting him through time conceivably, although he suggests Sam has been shifting himself through time. And Sam says, I wanted to make a bigger impact on the world. I wanted to change the world. And this character effectively says, you have. Do you really think that all you've done is to touch a few lives? And I'm getting back to the point, so bear with me for a minute. He says, the lives you touch others. And those lives, others. You've done a lot of good, Sam Beckett, and you can do a lot more. And that goes back down to being a parent, and really just being a human, and being a person. Because we do touch the lives of people around us. If you go to a store and you yell at the cashier, who may already look like they're miserable, or you encounter someone who's miserable, who tries to bring you down because they're having a pissy or bad day, you don't have to interact with it. I don't mean you have to interact with it, but you can choose a different path of how you behave. If someone is unhappy, I ran into someone at Sam's Club last week, and she said this job is not all it's cracked up to be. And she'd only worked there for 3 or 4 months. I think it was 4 months. Well, it's Sam's Club. These kinds of jobs, if you have to, and I'm not going to get in the same territory as Shay Carl because he got in trouble for misspeaking his words, and I know what he meant by it, but let me just put it this way. Jobs like that do provide a service to the community. They absolutely do. They're a part of our lives, okay? If you don't do that job, fine, you don't do that job. You may be a server. You may own your own business. We all serve a purpose to the community. Some of them are less impactful in certain ways. For example, actors make a bigger worldwide impact, not necessarily for the positive, mind you, or entertainers in general don't always make a positive impact on the world. They don't. Sometimes they show us the issues that come with too much money. You know, I'm not saying that you need to limit how much money people make, but you see the corruption of money. But getting back to the point, which is that you need to enjoy what you do, because, or realize it's a part of your life for now, not forever, and make a plan. And that we'll get into procrastination in a minute. What I was talking about though is, as parents, as people, now I'm not a parent, but I've been in a situation where I was essentially a stepfather. Well, the woman I was with really wanted attention that she never got as a child. She really never got it. And I'm not faulting her for that, because that's just the way her life was. She didn't get as much. She didn't get enough attention to her satisfaction. She was the 7th and last child. Her father died early in her life. She didn't get that kind of time. And as a result, she always wanted the attention she never got as a child, because her mother was distraught over losing her husband. She had already raised 7 children. My ex was more of a father's daughter than a mama's daughter, you know what I mean? So the way we interact with our children, or the way you interact with your children, impacts what happens to them later and how they will perceive the world, and really how they will treat the world. My ex, for example, I don't want to mention names, but she was sort of disillusioned with her children in a way. And as a result of it, me, this guy who worked with children for 6 years, adores children in most cases, became irritated with children. Gotta get rid of our bump. Come on, flywheel. Come on, fly. Alright, so even I became irritated with children. And I've worked with profoundly challenged children. Children that were so underdeveloped. They didn't have hands. They were... My God. My God, time flew. Holy crap. I didn't get in my topic today. Did I really run over that quickly? Wow, let me see.
Viewfinder. Viewfinder. Elapsed time. 14 minutes, 47
Holy
seconds.
crap. Just remember...
53 seconds.
Okay.
Viewfinder. Image.
Alright.
Double To
Just,
focus.
okay, thank you. I just took away more time. Just remember that you make an impact. The lives you touch others. You can do a lot of good. We can all do a lot of good. And remember that your children are an example of you when you send them out into the world. The way you teach them to grow, the way you allow them to grow, the way you teach them to treat others. It makes an impact on this world. The way you feel about yourself does affect them. It affected me. I'm a result of this kind of an experience. My mother, God love her, the universe love her, the world love her. She lived the life of someone who was beaten down because she was not treated the way she deserved to be treated. She wasn't the apple of her father's eye. She wasn't even the apple of her mother's eye. As a result of it, she never learned to love herself. Remember that the way you feel about yourself can carry over into the way your children feel about themselves. In ways I've told my mother before, just being straight, because I like to be straight with people, that I felt like we were doomed as my brother and I. Because of the way we were raised, not because she meant to do it, but because our family has this history. And I have thought that way for a long time. And then one day, it wasn't one thing that happened. It was a culmination of watching people like Shay Carl and the way he interacts with his family. And it doesn't have to do with being Mormon. It doesn't have to do with being Christian or Buddhist. It's a culmination of all of it. It's the way you treat your family, your children, and the way you treat the world. It does impact you. I know you've heard it before, but it comes down to get good shoes, use good shoes. It really does. The way you wear your emotions, how comfortable you feel in here about yourself. Doesn't matter what you wear on the outside. Everything is a shell we have around us. Simply a shell that deteriorates over time if you don't take care of it, and that shows the way we feel. And I'm not talking about what kind of shirt you're wearing. I'm wearing a California surfer shirt. I think that's what it is. It's either California or Australia. It's Australia 77. I got that because I was born in 77. I'm 36 years old. Forget what IMDb tells you. I was not born in 1982. I honestly don't know who the hell posted that IMDb. Thank you, but I'm not 30. How old would I be? Would I be 29? Holy crap, I'm younger than that. Wait. No, I'd be 31. Don't ask me to do math. Jeez. I love math, actually. Wear your shoes well. Get good shoes. Hear the way you walk around in the world. We are all in this together. I don't agree with the way certain people treat other people because I believe in solid equality across the board. I don't think anyone should have an advantage over anyone else. The only advantage you create is by the way you think and the actions you take. And that leads into procrastination, but I can't get into that today. Unfortunately, because I ramble. You're welcome. There's so many great conversations to be had, though. There are certain days, ladies and gentlemen, when I get on this thing, and I am on fire, and I'm like, bippity boppity boopity boppity boo. What does that mean? But I'm full of vibrant energy, And then there's days when I get on here and I'm like, what on earth am I going to talk to these people about? What kind of yada da 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 da? And there's been days where I've done that. Usually, I'm changing. My voice is changing. I finally grown testicle. It's probably not a child appropriate. I'm like Peter Brady. When it's time to change. Okay, I promise not to sing anymore. Today. Gotta go take my medication pretty good. Okay, so get good shoes. Walk around in good shoes. Not just literally, figuratively, but do take care of your body. Your feet, if you're fortunate enough to have that great benefit of mobility, where others are challenged by it. And enjoy it while you're young, if you haven't. I'm really popular today with people who I don't even owe money to. Who? I don't even know who that is. I fortunately don't owe money to anybody. So, I'm good. But I gotta go. I'm off. Have a good attitude. Enjoy the world. Time is short. Life is short. Make a positive impact the way you are capable of doing. The way we all are. We're in this together. If the sphere goes, we all go with it. So let's try and enjoy the ride and enjoy the view around us as much as possible. And if you don't like the view around you, take effort to change it as much as you possibly can. And that's a lot. Okay. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bum. I should have been born Italian, so I would actually do that right. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your day. And live with passion. See you tomorrow.